national dance troupe. And I'll call upon the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Gary Nkombo MP, to give us his remarks.
Thank you, Director of Programs. Your Excellency, the President, Mr. President, at the wing of this conference, which was the launch of the integrated development plans for Southern Province, where all the 15 districts managed to put together a document that is in line with the 8th National Development Plan, which document is going to guide each and every respective district on the planning and development of those respective districts. I was supported by my elder brother, the colleague and friend. I call him the first among equals, the Minister of Finance or the Chancellor of the Exchequer, whichever you want to do. And he gave a deep message to the participants of the launch of the integrated development plans. Forgive me, but I'll break the protocol by asking him to come and say a word or two, because this gap on you, Mr. President, to deliver your keynote speech. Honorable Msokotwane.
Thank you very much. Good morning once again, Your Excellency the President, colleague ministers, mayors, and the members of the Planning Commission. Thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words. First point is to congratulate the Planning Association for bringing us all here together, and also for accepting and driving the obvious, which is that the planning process must be all-embracive. So for that, I want to congratulate you for bringing all this together under one roof. The second point, which I mentioned yesterday, is that the planning that we do ultimately is for the benefit of all the citizens. Whether you are planning for physical planning, as we call it, the roads, drainages, and so forth, whether it's the socio-economic planning, which is what we do in the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, whether it's engineering planning, the ultimate goal is to make sure that citizens live better lives. To deliver the good life that we are looking for the citizens, resources must be generated. Otherwise, we plan, nothing will happen. And planning is good, but more importantly, or equally importantly, implementation of the plans. And this is where we as Zambians, we are extremely weak implementing plans. That's how you see houses on the railway tracks. This is how you see houses in the airports. This is how you see plan after plan, but nothing much happens after that. But also in generating resources, colleagues, you the planners, especially you who are coming from the civic authorities, mayors, councillors, and so forth, in implementing these plans. Now, those of us who have been lucky to move around the world, a small town like Livingstone, maybe you would have 100 factories, so many hotels, so many restaurants. You go to Kalomo, instead of finding the main industry to be government, again you would find maybe 70 factories in a place like Kalomo. so many hotels, so many services. You go to Monze, same thing. In our country today, apart from a few places, the main industry in the towns is government. How can we generate employment like that? It is impossible. And this is where your role comes in. The colleagues spoke about implementing CDF. I think my brother will come and elaborate on what we've done to remove those obstacles. But there's one obstacle that is remaining with you, the civic authorities. You are also a big problem because of the attitudes that are there. The attitudes that are there. To get a piece of land, you go around in circles. To get planning permission, you make people go around in circles. You don't realize that by making people go around in circles, you are actually killing the jobs that your son, grandson, nephew would have obtained. By making investors go around in circles, we are killing jobs. We are the ones that are responsible not for creating so many jobs because of the bureaucracy that we find in our offices. Now, a few months ago, I was in Egypt in a small town called Sharm el-Sheikh, attending the annual meeting of the African Development Bank. I think the president was there, just not far. As I was coming, I just had a thought. I went on the Google. How many hotels does Sharm el-Sheikh have? Sharm el-Sheikh, maybe the extent of the size, is from, says Monga to Mukuni there. That is all. And what is in Sharm el-Sheikh? Sand. Like the sand you find in Kalau. Small insects, small fish. Then, of course, there are the mountains there, the Sinai deserts, where the Jews wandered around for 30, 40 years. That is all. Now, here in Livingstone, you talk about the sand, we have it. Talk about the river, we have it. Talk about wildlife, we have crocodiles, we have snakes, we have millipedes, we have elephants, name it, we have it all. Above that, we have the Victoria Falls. Sharm el-Sheikh, 150 hotels. 150. Talking about hotel rooms, maybe we're talking about 20, 30,000 hotel rooms. You can imagine the jobs that have been created. Everybody is busy. But that comes about because when investors, and we are working very hard, the president is at the forefront, looking for investors to come and put investments here, for example. When investors come, you say, come and invest a hotel, there is no scratching the head. They're just shown, there's a place there, there's a place there, there's a place there, there's a place there. Choose. Everything goes fast. Here, everything goes slowly. And this is what is causing problems in terms of creating jobs. So as I close, colleagues, us from the councils, let's change our attitude. Next time we want to bring investors here for hotels, it must happen within the land here. We should be able, Madam Mayor, show them there's this place here, there's this place here, there's this place here. The title is already done, environmental things already done, construction starts, boys and girls get a job. This is how other countries have developed. So you, the council, staff, unless you cooperate in this vision, doesn't matter whether you're from Choma or from Kawe, it's the same thing. unless you cooperate, make everything go fast, 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 we'll be crying for jobs, and jobs will never come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Msokotwane. Once again, I would like to ride on the protocols as already established by those who spoke before me in the interest of time, save to use this opportunity to thank our sponsors, to maybe a bit too numerous to mention, and welcome our guests who have come from across the borders to our conference. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to extend my joy and sincere gratitude for you to have made yourself available to the Zambia Institute of Planners Conference. As the president of the conference indicated, you become the first person sitting in your position to come and be with the planners. This means a lot to them, Mr. President. It's called leadership, in other words, and as little and as limited to what is written on this script so that we can get the benefit of what you have to share yourself with the group that is seated before you. This group, Mr. President, is a team of professionals who come from different professional and special. A good number of them, or a good percentage, are working in the ministry that I'm privileged to head, courtesy of yourself, who appointed me, Mr. President. The majority of the members here are coming from central and local government, like I've just said just now, and the program that we all believe is the main thing, and we all believe has a transformational agenda to the interests and aspirations of those people who put us in office, Mr. President. The people sitting in front of you here ordinarily should be your foot soldiers, the ones that are going to be the implementers of government programs. Remember processes of their interests and their aspirations. Without the support of this team that is seated here, Mr. President, then we are actually deemed for failure. Therefore, it is important that as you speak, and as I know you well, you are going to drill your passionate message into each one of them so that we can together hold each other's hands to move this country from the level where we found it to another. Mr. President, most of these colleagues in front of you feel emancipated just by your pronouncements of the removal of cadres, political cadres, from the governance processes. You may, thank you very much. You may sometimes underestimate your voice, but it only took the voice of the person who's holding the highest point, the pinnacle of authority in our land, to say there shall be no more interference in the processes of manning our planning system, because the parceling out of land, Mr. President, became the daily bread of cadres. They took over councils, which are the planning authorities. They basically usurped power from most of the people who we depend on to make sure that spatial planning is adhered to the latter. There is a reason why planning is necessary. If you want to know the reason, just Google map Lagos City. You will then understand that as long as you relegate your authority, which the president has given back to you to exercise prudently, then we're going that same route, where a city can actually close. It can come to a standstill. Coupled with human activities, human practices, and what we all know best, that law, regulation, is put in place because a human being is a very conflicted animal. And if let alone, they can do anything and everything in their interest alone. And so your leadership, Mr. Accountants yesterday, is that you are going to be on a collision path with your own government. The attitudes, Mr. President, of ourselves, as well as our people, are something that we must not ignore. At no time shall we ignore our attitudes, because we are coming from a difficult past where political patronage was the order of the day, where corruption, and we are not as ashamed to say in the council. So we must be brothers keeper, to use it generically, not just brothers, but also sisters keeper. That if you see your colleague, not just in the planning department, in the engineering department, in the procurement department, putting brakes on the traction of the wheel of government, which needs to move fast, be the brother or sister's keeper and tell them, look, you are putting yourself in harm's way. Because if you are going to sabotage the well-intended government programs, then it means that you are definitely going to be on a collision path with your own government. Mr. President, I want to end by saying, what is the purpose of promulgating law, which law you cannot follow? As I said earlier on, laws are made because man, generically again, is a conflicted animal, because we have selfishness within ourselves. We want to do things for ourselves and not ignore what the next person's needs are. What is the point of putting regulation if you cannot adhere to it? In the same token, in the same breath, what would be the value of putting a plan if you cannot execute it? I'll end by giving you those three questions: that laws exist for a purpose, laws and regulations exist for a purpose, and so do plans. Now that the president emancipated all of us to be truly professional, I think you should rise to the occasion. It will put you in good light, it will make you shine, it will make us shine, because if you fail, I can assure you, we will also fail. So it's a clarion call that unless your intention is, your heart is not in the right place, because we are all public servants. The difference is that some of us are elected, you are not, and you are supplementary to the efforts. Those of us who went into the what do you call it, the tunnels and rural areas and the towns to seek the mandate of the Zambian people. You become the icing on the cake. And I assure you that if everyone does his part, we will be good together. Mr. President, now is my rare honor and privilege to call upon yourself to come and give your keynote speech to your delegates. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Minister. Please, you may take your seats, colleagues. You may take your seats. Thank you so much. I know the protocols have been elucidated already, but just to acknowledge the Minister of Local Government who has just spoken, thank you for your message. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Provincial Minister, both of whom have spoken, thank you for your messages. And also, it is my duty to acknowledge the president of the Institute, Planners Institute, very, very important institute in our country. Thank you for your message. Some of the issues you have raised have been addressed already. So, but would also put context to certain of the issues that you raised. I'm aware that we have a couple of, maybe more than one members of parliament that are seated with us here. I know the MP for Katombora is here. I'm not sure if the Livingstone MP is here, but mayors that are present, starting with Livingstone and council chairpersons, my colleagues, councillors. I've told myself I always remember the councillors because they think they're being ignored. So the councillors who live with the people. I also want to acknowledge members of the Institute, the executive members of the Institute that brought us here today, and your colleagues. I'm very delighted to know that your colleagues from across the river in Zimbabwe are here, and also across the same river, but upstream from Botswana, are also here. Dumerama, Dumerara. Thank you for being present. And Mangwanani for the Zimbabweans. So in fact, this time is Masikati for the Zimbabweans. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, all of you respected, first, it is my duty, really, really singular duty to thank you, Mr. President, of the Institute of Planners and your executive for deciding to invite this fellow to this platform. I'm very grateful for that, and I don't take that for granted because I know you would have invited other people and that would have been fine, but you chose on us. Thank you so much. And I also want to acknowledge your choice of theme for this forum, to unlock barriers. I do believe barriers that stand in the way of development in the planning space, but also in the overall development space. I think your choice of theme is appropriate. As I said to your colleagues, the accountants yesterday, downstream from where we are, who had their forum yesterday. I think they're continuing today and tomorrow. Now, your message or choice of theme is in consonant with this government, this UPND New Dawn government's overall development agenda. And we do face a lot of rigidities in the process of delivering development for our people. And Mr. President and your colleagues, we need to work together in unison to address or to unlock these rigidities. I call them rigidities, things that stand in the way of development. We can only succeed when we work together. Not if, because we have to work together. When we work together, we will be able to take this country where it should be. This country has been in a slowdown mode for too long. If I get extreme in my choice of words, I would say it's been in a state of comatose for too long. Essentially immobilized. Yet there was an assumption, there was a perception that there were movements, but these movements were actually negative movements. And how do we know that the movements were negative? We know it by the decline in the economy, which was growing at 6% per annum in terms of GDP, gross domestic product, and this plummeted to minus 2.8%. Therein is the truth. It's not debatable. It stares at us. I know some would like to invoke debates on anything and everything. But do you debate facts like that? Do you argue about facts that are so clear, so straightforward, that we regressed as a country? So it means the activities that we engaged in were actually subtracting. They were not adding. We need to address those issues that caused that decline, in agreeing with you. How else do we know? We acquired so much debt, billions of dollars. I'm talking of external debt only. When you add domestic debt, billions of kwacha. Huge liability on one side, the same balance sheet, the asset side, kulibe, hakuna, kwina. Tapali nanguchimo. I'm saying what you know, but I'm putting it in a context that it is the issues you are trying to address, the rigidities, the wrong ways of doing things that cause this damage. That we pick a huge liability, but assets are going down, nothing to show for. How would you balance the Zambia balance sheet? You wouldn't. How do I know we wouldn't? That's why we went into default. We couldn't service our obligations. There's the test of the pudding. The facts say you want to test the pudding, you eat. So there's the test of the pudding. They are the facts. So we agree with you. And I was following your speech there. Luckily, you don't have to plead with this government to work with you. This government will work with you. This government wants to work with you. As I said, we are one. Over years, as a private sector person myself, I began to see one of our fundamental problems as a country was this issue of them against us. Everything it was, they are wrong. We are wrong. We take responsibility for the failures of those that were in government before us. But the most important thing is that we are here to deal with those failures. We are here to resolve the debt crisis that was created by those we told don't borrow recklessly, and they argued. We told them don't borrow at a high cost, they argued. We told them don't borrow for consumption, borrow for investment expenditure, they argued. There is a pudding now. There is where we are. But our duty, having been favored by you and the rest of the 20 million or 19 million plus Zambians who gave us the opportunity to save this country, very rare opportunity, I must say. I say to these ministers, to the colleagues I work with in State House, see them on that table, to you, the senior government official, permanent secretaries, mayors, to you, the planners, that we are fortunate people. Out of 20 million people, why should you be the chief planner? Are you special? Maybe not. Someone else could have been the chief planner, isn't it? Why are you the Minister of Finance? Why are you the Minister of Local Government? Why are you the Provincial Minister? Why are you the President of the Planners Institute? Why you? Why I remind my wife that, why should I be the President of Zambia? Why me? Me, I'm just a villager. I'm just a cattleman. Why should the people of Zambia make me president? I must pinch myself and every day and night work hard to earn the presidency that I'm occupying. So you should do the same. So you should do the same. No one is special. But we have been accorded this rare opportunity to serve the people of Zambia in different functions, different roles, different responsibilities. District commissioners. Many times we think we are there because we're special. Icona. No. We're privileged. So let's utilize that privilege, Mr. President, by working as one team and not polarize ourselves and not pull in different directions. So we can do what the Minister of Finance is saying, how that Egyptian city in the desert has been able to attract international meetings over and over and again. We can make Livingstone the same. The ingredients are even more than that Egyptian city, except maybe that region got civilized thousands of years ahead of many. But we have spectacles here. Why are we not doing it? Because we do not see what we have, what God gave us, that is special. Attitude, mindset. So you, the planners, Mr. Chairman, President, are so integral to the vision of this government to make this city a proper city, which is well organized. It can't be organized if it's not planned properly, isn't it? So you are important, so important as planners, all of you, to this country's development agenda, to better the lives of the people of Zambia. And that's why we said 3 focal areas of the UPN: economic development, growth, which we have in here, very important, all facets of it, macro side, micro side, policies, attractiveness, consistency, stability, Kaufela, debt management, all of those things. That's why we had to work hard to resolve what others thought was a mission impossible. But with teamwork, dedication, your country was the first one to achieve debt restructuring under the G20 framework. We found countries in the queue. We jumped, and Zambia is now the model, is the example. Teamwork. More important, you who elected us into office, you gave us the keys to the door. We entered the room, we worked as a team broader than citizens of this country. I'm emphasizing on working together for deliberate objective, intentional way of working. That's what we lack as a country. When we were going outside there through the stands, I whispered to the Minister of Finance and National Planning, as Madam Mukwandi, your staff were explaining the facilities that they're giving, small-scale SME loans, as National Savings, where is she? As National Savings, the stand, who was manning the National Savings stand? I think it's National Savings, isn't it?
That's it.
That's it. You're here, that's it. As they were running through those stands, and now in my head, my brain works faster than my mouth and my hands. So, and I looked at all these opportunities that young people are not taking up, but yet they're complaining in the streets. They see me every day. Tibazi ndalama HH. Ndalama ziri pacha, ziriko pacha. So I said to the Minister of Opportunities there. I said to the Minister of Finance, I don't know if you heard me. I said, I wished I was still in my 30s. I wished I was still young. This country is a great country. So much opportunity. But do we all see it like that? Maybe not. Attitude, mindset. Why should we have fewer hotels here than Sharm el-Sheikh? What is missing? We don't want to do it. We think we want to do it, but we don't want to do it. We are pretentious, I'm sorry to say. The opportunities are huge. I travel around the world. I started traveling from my student days. Mr. President, I was mischievous myself. I started doing business as a student at UNZA. Yes, during the days of shortages, holidays, I'll come, catch a bus, Kasani, into Botswana, or through here, into Hwange, as a student. Sell something, then buy something. When campus opens, I sell to students, fellow students. Then I was sort of a reasonable student. I had an electric kettle, I had a pressing iron, I had a radio cassette, and girls used to come and press in my room. If you went to UNZA that time, you know what I'm talking about. The room that had the pressing iron, a radio cassette, and the electric kettle was the room to visit. So when I look around our country, I travel around now, I said, citizens of my country don't know what they're sitting on. Great opportunity. Great opportunity. But the planners must help us to realize that greatness so that whatever we do is done properly. Is done properly. It is intentional. Whatever we put up, a road. I'm not in your field, but I'm in your field through you. I know that if you are putting a road like this Great North Road, it's on the ridge, isn't it? It's just that people don't observe it. Drive this road from here, go to Zimba, go to Kalomo, go to Choma, Muzoka, Batoka. When you look left, you see the land it's actually a watershed. The land is going down this side. And the river in my village in Wengwa starts in Batoka there. But other rivers going to Sinazongwe are just 50 meters the other side. So right on the ridge is what the colonial planners, that's how they designed this Great North Road. So that the road sits on top there, is not flushed with water, and is not washed away easily. And the cost will be lower, and it will be more durable. Planning. Me, I'm just an observer. I didn't train in the area you train. I just observe. But go today and see the roads that we are designing today. You put the road in the valley. How do you expect that road to last long? To be beaten by the weather, the rain, erosion, everything. You go and look at after the floods of last year, this year actually. I know one of you said, who said that I went to see, I think it's the director of ceremonies, the flooding in Kanyama. And in Kawata, I've been in Lusaka since I went to UNZA. I came from the village, straight from the village into UNZA. First time to go to Lusaka, I was being taught Cairo, hey, but I've never seen Kabwata flood. This past year, Kabwata flooded, isn't it? Then we went there, how do we get out the water? Getting pumps from the mines to pump out the water. Then the groundwater table basically was harmonized with the surface water. I think that's a hole we went to see. I don't know if I went with any one of you ministers. In Kabwata, somewhere there, down there, between Kabwata and Chawam. Those pits that people were digging anyhow, without reference to planning, to the negative impact of digging gravel anywhere next to a house. And the houses, the water was up to the roof. Never happened before, but it happened. Should it have happened like that? I'm asking planners. No. Where was the city, Lusaka City Council, to allow people to build houses in the gravel pits? Konokis Kamak. I know some of you don't like languages. You must love Zambia in totality, including its culture in totality, including its languages. That's what I do myself. When I say Kiskama, so what's the issue? Where was the planners? Because a house is never built in an urban area without submitting a building plan. So how did that house get, you know, I looked there and I looked down in shame. I said, this is not right. What's the problem? Finch village tika. Ni change chiri kuchitika. Ndipenzi. It is us. We are not serious. Mr. President, that's why we are seated here today, is to put things in context. To say these sort of things we will not allow. Who is we? Planners in there, town, urban, country planners. In there is engineers. In there is architects. Isn't it? Totality of things. That's my message to you today. Let's address our problems or challenges in totality, not in isolation. If I said other things, I'll be saying things that have been said already. But you have heard them already. Because when you are in a forum like this, pick messages from every speaker, then pull it together. Then at the end of the day, agree an action plan to implement. Then it was worthwhile coming here. And then we action those things. Then we went to Kanyama. Flooding there is like a traditional ceremony every year. Then at one point, I don't know if Minister of Local Government, you came with me, Kanyama West there. We now had to buy, I instructed National Service. Luckily you gave me the powers as head of state, as Commander-in-Chief. I said, National Service, go and get an excavator. A new one, because the old ones were breaking. We now had to get from, I think it's that Komaso on the airport road, there's on your right, Hitachi. I said, go and get it. They got it. We took the Hitachi excavator there to open up Kanyama, just to open for the water to find an exit. I hope, Minister, that drainage is being worked on, because I instructed that from there on, that drainage must be worked on and becomes a permanent drainage to drain Kanyama. So how did we build Kanyama? Where were we? All these years. You go to Kanyama, people build in the pond, in the Dambo, they're building there. And then west still, Kanyama sits on a limestone, isn't it? Drainage is poor. So where were we? The cost of buying a Hitachi excavator on the spot unplanned is too high. I guess you are getting my message. Let's work as a team. Councils fail. They failed in the past. We should not allow them to continue failing. Planners have failed. Architects have failed. Engineers have failed. After we went to Mumbwa, flew to Mumba, a bridge was blown off. And when we looked at that bridge, Minister of Local Government, clearly that bridge was wrongly planned, wrongly constructed. How do you put a bridge? Me, I come from lowland area. I was born in Wengo. We understand our dambos. Don't follow us when we go in the water channels. You will drown. Me, I will survive. You will drown. Because I understand those things. When you fly, I'm sure Dr. Msokotwane, because of where he comes from, in Libonda, similarities there. You see grass there in my home area. Grass is flourishing, certain trees are flourishing. They're actually floating trees. So you drop there, you want to walk there, you drown. The water is deep there. But we, the planners, must understand that more than us who were just born in those areas. You should tell us certain things to do. And our people, over years of drought, got the habit to think that certain islands you can build on. And they build houses. This time around, their houses were swept. So how did we allow them to build there? I'm guilty. We are guilty. I can go on and on. So we went to Mumba, and we find a stream. And in the last government, the contract was given to a brother or a cousin for money only, not to help the country. And they put up a bridge there, right in the Dambo, and just at the stream point, if it's 50 meters, that's where the bridge was put. But beyond 60 meters that side is still a Dambo. 60 meters that side, how can a bridge hold there when there's a fly? The bridge was just taken. And what was it done with? It was done with culverts. How do you put culverts in a situation like that? Choice of materials. So I declared there that I said, planners, engineers, challenge them that let's rebuild this bridge, and I don't want to see culverts here because I know the behavior of water. I grew up in water myself. I know. So I think that bridge has been done now. On pillars, planners. You just can't plan urban planning, town, country, town and urban. It's country planning as well. Agriculture planning. Where are we going to place fields for crop? Where are we going to place livestock? Where are we going to put fish? So, sir, your mandate is more than just the planning, which is straight line. It's straight line, it's sideways, backwards, it's forward, bring all the skill set together. And I like what you said there, to consolidate the institute, to bring different skills together. Bring the skills together. No one should say, no, me, I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm a civil engineer. No, no, no. But what we want is a product that will work, which incorporates all the skill sets. Local government planners, ministry planners, central government, local government, councils, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Green Economy must come on board. So I ask, Mr. President, because today I want to say a few things and sit down. I am asking that one of the action points is to quickly itemize this issue of a consolidated planning function. Because you will not succeed if you make it narrow as it is now. Because someone will undermine the work you are doing, good work, in your narrow space. I hear that before the UPND government came in, your institute was supposed to be closed down. Now, this government says your institute must grow. The ball is in your court now. This table is active. The ball is in your court. Plan to be holistic. We will support you. Local government minister, let's checklist this item. is for action when we leave this conference. I said to the Minister of Finance, yes, national planning, the components must be put together. We are one team. One team, not them against us. No, it is us. Let's have integrated planning, consolidated, rationalized, but intentional, deliberate. Kono, right? We like to do simple things. I'm just saying, my brothers and sisters. We like to do things in a simple way, in a lazy way. You touch a little bit, asebenza. What have you done? Ni momba. What have you done? Someone asked me a question. How come, Mr. President, you are not tired? You don't tire. I say that's a state of mind. It's a psychological issue. If your brain tells your body that I'm tired, I want to rest now, the body will go to sleep. But if your brain tells your body that there's work to be done, hakuna kulala, there's no sleeping, you go. It's a state of mind. I have a doctor in this room that tells me, you burn yourself out. I said, oh, you burn out before I burn out. We argue, but he's right. That's his profession. But the point is that we must work hard, Mr. President. We don't work hard. As a people, as a country, we don't work hard, madam. That, I want to use the Minister of Local Governments, where he says, without risk of contradiction. So he says, I can say to you that we don't work hard. We wiped out over years the art of hard work, the couch of hard work. And that's why you walk in the streets, people say, Nipempa, this is an able-bodied person. Well, go and get a CDF loan through NatSafe. Adia is nifuna loan, nifuna yo tenga chake. Manja, every day yo tenga, every month yo tenga. Creates something. That's what this government wants to do, to give opportunities to all our people. We know some are better placed than others. We know some had no opportunity to go to school. That's why we've introduced free education. I was very happy when I saw a lady in Mansa, 52 or so. She was on television saying, "Wherever I introduced free education, I took a decision that nalabwerera ku school. Ndimu school, so I'm even beating young people in the school. I'm doing well." I clapped. So my wife says, "Why are you clapping?" I said, "Come." So I pushed the television back. You know, this facility technology has. I said, "Sit here and listen to this woman." So she listened. Then the clip was, so she asked me, "Why were you clapping?" I said, "Haven't you seen what he's saying?" I was very proud of that woman, that a decision of this government to bring back free education made a lady of that age to say, "I'm going back to school." I'm not diverting. I'm saying we know as a government that there are different needs for our society. Society is at different level, and we would like to address the different needs. The kids that need free education, they get it. The kids that we can take away from sugar daddies in Unza, in another institution, we give them meal allowances. It's what these ministers and I talk about. These ministers here, cabinet, we talk about these things. Intentional. CDF is intentional. It's not by chance. It's intentional. And now that is in your areas, use it properly. To use it properly, plan for us properly, Mr. President. Also, nonga ndalama. Muiona ulolupia. Because when we make an investment and it's a wrong one, we've lost that money. Let's be rational, let's be efficient, let's be effective. Let's work as a team. I'm coming back to the team. We're talented differently, we're skilled differently, but when we pull our skill sets together, we'll achieve more. Is that not right? So integrated planning, bring everybody together who is relevant, applying our skills properly. Let's apply technology. Minister of Local Government says, Zoom and get Lagos. Wherever you are, you see. I don't know if you followed why he said that. I know he touched a little bit of the negative sides. But be in Lagos. If you want to believe what he's saying, be in Lagos. To get from the airport to a house you are going to in Lagos, maybe it's 8 hours. But if there was no congestion, you'll be there in 20 minutes. You think Lusaka can't be like that? It's already in that situation, almost. So, sir, madam, let us work properly. This government has provided the opportunity. In case you don't see it, we have provided the opportunity. Presidential Delivery Unit ladies there, please stand up and face this side. That's Madam Kuso there. She's the head of the Presidential Delivery Unit. You may take your seat. This president was whispering to me before we got to the official stage. It's difficult to get things done. We want to see you, Mr. President, but we can't access you. I said, there she is. There is the presidency there. There is the presidency in that desk. There is the presidency in the Minister of Local Government, Minister of Finance, Minister of the province. There is the presidency in the mayor. There is a presidency. The presidency exists in many of you. So I'm serious, sir. Get a local government minister. PS is Nicholas. Nicholas is there. The other PS is not here. These are your colleagues. These are your partners. These are your team members. They're not, it's not them. This because I'm confronting this problem everywhere. I get to, president has to deal with small issues. I said, you guys, why didn't you allow me to deal with complicated things? Why didn't you allow me to call President Xi Jinping? Because only me can call him to resolve a problem. Give me that assignment and I'll do it. Why don't you want me to call President Macron on a matter that requires his intervention? The Minister of Finance knows why I'm mentioning these presidents. It's what we had to do during the debt restructuring. Mutwili. Na mumfatevi. Zambia, Monterey. So, I don't want to say anything more. Part of our rule of law, Mr. President, when you hear us talking about rule of law, order, it includes planning. Why would you have haphazard houses all over? You can't even have a road going through. How are we going to run the location? So I am asking us here, one of the items to log in, yes, to consolidate the institute, to be holistic, 2, 3, to work as a team. 4, can we now unblock the settlements that are unplanned? We can't pull down those houses, but we can improve them by planning a road to say, here, an ambulance can't go through. A public transport can't go through. We will isolate these houses and take them out by negotiation and compensate the owners, give them better houses somewhere, and we'll put a road here, we'll put drainage here. We will work with you to do that. But you can't go there and bulldoze people's houses without any compensation, without anything. That is wrong. but we communicate with the community to run water lines, to run communication lines, to run power lines. You can't do that. You go into certain places. I don't want someone to write wrongly that the president said we'll pull down a house in Mandevo. Yeah, it's not going to be so. Nakambakuti will improve the unplanned settlement by working with your institute, local government, local communities. And once we have decided with local communities, that's how it works. You will see they'll be happy, and sooner or later, 2-3 months later, those whose houses are relocated or are taken down, they're living in a nice house somewhere. And you communicate. Where's the lady from ZNBC? Madam Wikisa. When we communicate that information, do you think there'll be a riot there? Do you think there'll be a riot? No, there'll be none. Then I'm saying, President, part of what we should action is that going forward, there should be no unplanned settlement cropping up so that we don't go to do what we're doing in the existing ones. So let's design settlements properly with all the functionality. I'm going in circles, but I'm sure you're following what I'm saying. So, technology is important. Supply technology, Mr. Minister, local government. The right people, the planners in the council, a small number for a settlement. You say, come and have a look at this settlement. You zoom it, put it on enlarge. Then they will understand, see people walking around there, see the cars, see the chaos there. I really think that this country is on the verge of takeoff. I know many of you don't see it. I see it myself. We are on the verge of takeoff. But we have to be serious. We have to work together. I was saying one day outside that I love these ladies running our financial institution. I was gossiping about you. Yes. You, your friend at APSA, your friend at Citibank, your namesake. She's at Citibank, And I said, I've given you ladies, another lady, head of the delivery unit. So hit it out together to help everybody, help our country. I want you professionals to feel proud. When you look back what you got involved in, you say, I think I did a good job. We did a good job there. It's easy. Yesterday I used the example of South Korea. Tomorrow I have a meeting with the minister from South Korea. We're talking about working together. Tomorrow I have another meeting with the Minister of Commerce from Japan. And these countries have identified us following the change of government that we like that team there. We like to work with them. You understand what that means? It comes with obligations. When they meet us, they shouldn't now get on the ground, as the Minister of Finance was saying, when they decide to bring investments and they can't get a decision from us. So what do you think they will say when they go back? The president will talk to them, language they understand, shake hands. That's what somebody said to me in Paris. German chancellor said, HH, you guys appear to be switched on from Zambia. But why is Africa still poor? Why are your country still poor? That's a jigsaw puzzle, but we have the capacity. Mr. President, I want to close, because we have other work to do, by saying, let us agree action points from this workshop forum. Let us agree. Let us create a working team that isolates even other things that have not been discussed yet, but they will be discussed in this platform. They must be included. An action list, and get on with the work afterwards. Professionals should not be using WhatsApp for games, internet for games. Professionals should be saying, following our meeting yesterday with the guest of honor, these things we discussed, I suggest we work this way. You get my point, eh? Yes. So, Mr. President, this government will support you, I repeat. Mr. President, this government needs your support in the many areas we've covered, including the fight against corruption. Why people build without plans? Because sometimes it's for something. Something. That's the correct pronunciation. Something. Now, that something is so little in comparison to the damage. So that too, we would like you to agree to work with us. And the fight against corruption is not tribal. Please, young people, the young ones, don't be spoiled by the older people. Everything they see from the angle of a tribe in this society. That's why this country has been going down for too long. You choose somebody to run a country, you know he's not capable. But because the ism fits with your narrative, you, the young generation, will save this country from that. There's no tribalism in the fight against corruption. There's no regionalism. We're fighting corruption of the past, of the present, and the future. This president has removed senior people he appointed. But you still pick a headline newspaper and say, no, the fight against corruption is selective, is tribal, is regional. Were you stealing for a tribe when you were stealing? Did you share with a tribesmate when you were stealing, man? You ate alone because you are greedy. Now you want a tribe to stand in for you. Maybe first go and distribute what you took to the tribe. I'm not joking. This is how you demean a very important program and you bring isms into it. Mr. President, we expect your institute, professional, dignified institute, not to fall into that, to approve a plan you know is faulty, is sitting in a dumbo. But because something is what you see first, you approve. Let's not get into there. Let's work together properly. Sponsors have been thanked already. Thank you to the sponsors once more. That's the way it should be. I was asking the Minister of Government, do you know this gentleman? Do you know his group? He says no. I asked the president, said, do you know this guy and his group? He says, I've only known them recently. So we'd like to understand who you are, sir. What do you do? How can we collaborate? Because cooperatives are very important to us. Isn't it, Minister? Especially around agriculture, around CDF, very important to us. Again, collaborative effort. I saw people giggling when you wanted to use this microphone. I wouldn't mind myself if you used it. Didn't I say so, Mr. President? I whispered, they should have just let him use it. He wouldn't be the president of Zambia because he was not elected. It's my singular honor and privilege to declare this symposium officially opened. Mr. President, God bless us all. God bless our country, Zambia, which we all love so much. And thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you so much. sure the Zambia Institute of Planners and its members should be very happy by some of the pronouncements made this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. President, for addressing burning issues from the Institute of Planners and, of course, national issues. A few takeaways for my colleagues from the press. I think it's a relief that the President acknowledged the choice of the theme for this conference, which is unlocking barriers to socio-economic development, because he acknowledged the fact that there are barriers that need to be addressed. He calls them rigidities. And another issue is the fact that he knows that planners are an integral function of governance. And as a developing country, we can't achieve meaningful development without planning. But he goes on to say, we should not just have these plans on paper, we must implement by being collaborative and in a consolidated manner. And it is also a relief by the fact that he says he supports the existence of the Zambia Institute of Planners. That must make you very happy as planners. And in turn, he also asks for your support as planners. So I think this afternoon must be the highlight of this AGM and this meeting that you're having in Livingstone. Lastly, the president of the Zambia Institute of Planners made a plea for the establishment of a special assistant on planning. And so the president has given direction in that regard, and we're here to wait for the outcome, as he referred to the madam right there. So we are awaiting the positive outcome, because already it seems that we're on the right course. At this point in time, I call upon the National Dance Troupe to give us a